Yeah, Jarki Swasti. So that one, yeah, that's it. I love that one because it's such a beautiful like portrait of Kathmandu, you know, of it's about it's about a man who he's kicked his wife out, and then he suddenly spots her again. I think in front of, it's a specific. I think it's in front of maybe it's the Soma Bhagavati Mandir. She's like, giving darshan there, and she's wearing this beautiful sweater, and she takes her tikka, and her hair is beautiful black, silky, oiled, perfectly oiled, whatever. And he sees her and he's like, that's my wife. That's a beautiful woman. Well, why did I kick her out? What was wrong with me? How could I have done that? And all of a sudden he starts following her, and she's just going on about her business. She's doing some shopping and then walking, and it just describes like the whole route that they take, and he keeps walking behind her. She's with like a young boy, and they're doing their thing, and he's following her, looking, and then at some point she looks back and she sees him, and he's kind of like, and she's like, and then she starts walking a little faster where she's going, and he starts to try to catch up with her, but then he slows down. He's sort of indecisive. He's like, do I really want to catch up with her? Don't I? She starts to speed up, but then she starts to slow down again. It's like they're both indecisive or something. And then at a certain point, she just speeds up, and she leaves behind that little boy that she was walking with, and then he also speeds up. So then it's like boom, 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 boom. They're just traveling, and there's this whole route. You could probably, you could put it on a map, and like point out the like tourist attractions on the way. And then finally he catches up to her, and he like steps in front of her, so she has to stop, and she just stands there. Like, she doesn't even look at him. She just looks down. She doesn't say anything. And he's like, well, where have you been? Like it was her fault.
You're right.
It was. I can't remember if he actually says, why did you leave me? But it's kind of that feeling,
Right.
And she's just like, stop it. Don't make a scene in the middle of the street, And he's like,
Because
no.
she has moved on.
She's moved on. She's staying with this other guy now. She's her life has moved on. I'm sure that was really hard for her when he kicked her out, but she's made a new life, But now he's like, no, I'll take you back. I'm going to take you back. I'm going to bring you home. I won't let you go. I swear. You're coming with me now. You can't go. No. That other guy, he's not your husband. He's
just some random guy.
He's an adulterer.
Okay.
If he's sleeping with you, It's like, and she's just like, don't make a scene here. Don't make a scene here. And the little boy is catching up, and then the story ends completely ambiguously, where she finally like lifts her eyes and looks at him, and they're just looking into each other's eyes, and he perceives that as she's still in love with him. She's going to come with him in his perception, but you don't really know what she's thinking, and that's the end of the story.
She's probably thinking, good riddance.
Yeah, she's probably thinking, get out of here.
What a madman.
I know. Like,
what
how
a creep.
What a creep, right? He throws her out, and then suddenly he wants her back.
Yeah.
And then he won't leave her alone. It's just like, how much can you jerk people around,
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Also, it seems like it really captures the geography of the city.
Yeah, right. That's one of the ones. Just like Vijay Malla's captures the Newar community. So I like these ones that also have this other aspect that really illuminate. A lot of them do. That really illuminate some part of Nepal.
So how many stories have you translated by now? You have also translated the novel by Banira Giri,
Right.
The Prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is beautifully translated as well. How long did that take you?
That took, it was kind of in a compressed period of time. Banira Giri came to the U.S. to visit her daughter and son-in-law. And she was in California, I was in New Mexico. So I actually drove over there. It was a 2-day drive. And I had done a rough draft of most of the novel. And I went over there, and she had 5 days. So every morning we got up at 6 o'clock, we sat down, we went over word for word, the whole thing, boom, 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 every day. And it was very clockwork, She was really nice. Then we'd have, at 6 we had chia, at 10 or 11 we had dal bhat. At 1 o'clock we had a glass of guava juice. At,
Okay.
at 3 o'clock we took a walk. At 7 o'clock we had dalbat, and then we'd work again until 10 o'clock. So
Wow.
the whole time, with these little breaks, that was all very organized. We'd work for 5 days. And
That sounds intense.
it was so intense, like from 6 in the morning till 10 at night.
And you
So-
got it done in
and we
those
got it
5
done
days.
somehow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah,
It's beautifully translated.
yeah. And then I went home and I worked on, I smoothed it all out. But we got all my questions answered, because there was all that question of, like the inheritance in there, right? Like the father died and left a certain amount of money to the sons and left half that much to the daughter. And I thought, well, that's very prejudiced. He only left half as much to the daughter. But actually it's the other way around.
Oh.
He shouldn't have left any to the daughter, according to,
Oh, right, of
Right.
course, yeah. So they were lucky to get that
everything.
half.
Yeah, well, everything he left to the daughter was like money out of their pocket.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's how they perceived it.
Ah,
But sort of like they didn't actually, Ongsa Banda Garego Chaina, they didn't split everything up because she didn't get married. And the reason she didn't get married is because they kept rejecting all these suitors. Because as long as she still lived with them, they didn't have to divide out her portion and give her that money. Do you know what I mean? It just stayed as part of it because they're all living together.
okay. But if she had gotten married, she would just have left and would have gotten nothing.
Well, no, not the way, because her father wrote a will,
Oh, I see.
which was
Okay.
very weird. But he did. He was this very modern guy. He wrote a will.
Okay.
So if she had gotten married, actually, because of the will, they would have had to divide off her portion and give it to her.
Oh, I see. So basically, they wanted to keep her married so they could keep
Yep.
the property in the
So
family.
they basically destroyed all her chances of marriage.
Wow, that's too sad.
Yeah, and then she ended up, of course, in some illicit relationship because she had to have somebody. I mean, and that guy was married. And then it's kind of similar to that other story where he died. He was killed in a car accident. The guy that she was with, and she didn't even hear about it for a couple days because who would tell her,
Wow, that's tragic.
Yeah.
But that's a beautifully translated work, and I hope it comes out someday in through a publisher in the US or
Yeah.
Britain, where it can be made available to a larger audience.
I know.
So, do you think this collection that you have brought together with all of these different classic stories from Nepal, that will come out at some point through a publisher,
Yeah,
a mainstream
yeah.
publisher?
That's my plan. I'm hoping to do that this year. Find a good publisher for it. And as well as maybe somewhere here so that people can also buy an affordable copy in Nepal as well. But I would want to get it out there because I think it's, people would be interested in it. It could be, people could have it in literature classes, or women's studies classes, anything like that, or just study, whatever, foreign studies, kind of classes. It would be perfect. I mean, I had a friend who was an anthropologist, and she kept just saying, you have to get this published. And she was basically already using a lot of the stuff from it in her research.
Okay.
Like,
No, there's a lot of,
Yeah.
like you're mentioning, like even it's almost like an archaeology of time because
Yeah.
you can see how the society changed in these stories and how the relation between men and women changed.
right.
Also, you can even the landscape is changing within the story,
Right,
so it's
right.
almost like you have this archaeological layer within
Mhm.
the stories that you can excavate and go back in time and
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. That's really true, because it is this long period of time over which all those stories were written, and also the last one is written now. That's quite a while ago, so it's all kind of a historic chunk, of
right.
time.
Even 1993 by now
Yeah.
is history.
Right, but
Right.
now that's like ancient history.
30 years ago. I
Yeah,
mean, come on,
I mean,
that's
yeah.
the 3
All the
decades.
young people weren't even born yet.
That
so-
was last century.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can say you have a book of classic short stories
Yeah.
from Nepal that
Yeah, I would say that.
be widely interesting to people of all different backgrounds who are interested in the history and the geography and the society and cultures of Nepal.
Yeah, and even just of South Asia, because it's very representative, I think.
Do you want to say a few final words before we close, Anne?
Sure. I mean, just that. I just think it's an important collection, both for women and for Nepal, and for Nepali literature, for the classic stories that were written during this time that people don't have any access to because they aren't translated and they aren't anthologized either. If they are translated, they're all translated by the author in an author collection. So I think this would be the only collection that would exist that has that kind of, other than Michael Hutt, but he didn't just focus on short stories, he did like poetry, short stories, all sorts of things. To me, this is it's like this condensed little kind of jewel of Nepali literature, all the classics. Each short story is such a little condensed form, and people love short stories. So
wonderful.
yeah,
Great. I look forward to reading it once it comes out in the printed version as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anne.
Thank
This
you
has
very
been
much.
a lovely conversation. And I look forward to having you back when you are back with your book
All right.
and the book launch.
Thank you.